दूसरा ऐसे जो हम लिखेंगे वो लिखेंगे लेजिस्लेटिव मेजर्स अलोन आर नॉट इनफ टू इंश्योर वुमेन्स सेफ्टी। Legislative measures alone are not enough to ensure women's safety। ओके, यहाँ पे हम एक स्टोरी टाइप से या फिर एक इंसिडेंट से यहाँ पे हम स्टार्ट करेंगे ऐसे को। सितंबर 2020 में हमारे पास क्या हुआ, जो हथरस गैंगरेप हुआ था उस स्टोरी से हम यहाँ पे, उस इंसिडेंट से यहाँ पे हम स्टार्ट करेंगे। सितंबर 2020 में क्या हुआ, इंडिया वोक अप टू येट another horrifying rape story, this time the victim, a 19-year-old girl from Hathras, was allegedly raped by 4 men from the same area in the coming days. As the country was watching and waiting in horror, the victim died in a hospital. Murdered in an undignified manner. She also lost her right to a dignified cremation. When the police cremated her forcibly, okay, now media was not allowed to visit the cremation. Media was not allowed to visit the cremation site, and in the later days her family communication to the outside world was cut off. इसके बाद यहाँ बताएंगे कि that this story, one of the thousands in India. It represents a typical case of violence against the woman, the apathy of law enforcement agencies, and the case against law alone being able to ensure the safety of women. ओके, इस ऐसे में हम बात क्या करेंगे, दिस ऐसे वी विल discuss the statistics about women's safety in India. The legislative measures to ensure their safety. The reasons of inadequacy of legislative measures alone to ensure their safety, and the steps that need to be taken आज के ज़माने में ऐसे फिलोसफिकल ऐसे आते हैं, ऐसे वाले ऐसे कम आते हैं, तो इस तरह से इसको देख लेंगे, बट उतने चांसेस नहीं हैं। पहले आते थे ऐसे, अब नहीं आते ऐसे। यहाँ पे मैंने कर सकते हैं थॉमस यूटर का सर्वे को, थॉमस यूटर्स survey in 2019 held India as the most dangerous country for women. मोस्ट डेंजरस कंट्री फॉर वुमेन, एक तरह से शेमफुल बात है भाई। A shame for any thinking Indian. Similarly, according to National Crime Record Bureau, there has been a 4% increase in crime rate against women in the last 1 year. Okay, with 12% increase in rape cases. These statistics go on to show the acute problem of women's safety in India. This statistics go on to show the acute problem of women safety in India. This is despite the various legislative measures that India has taken over years. Government of India over the years has came up with legislative measures to ensure women safety, जिसमें लॉज आते हैं जैसे डाउरी एक्ट, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट एक्ट, है ना, दैट इज़ प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस एक्ट, उसकी बात कर सकते हैं. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ओवर years has come up with legislative measures to ensure women's safety. This include laws like Dowry Prohibition Act 1986, Domestic Violence Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, Domestic Violence Act, prohibition of or sexual harassment, prohibition of sexual harassment at workplace act 2013 ना, criminal law amendment act 2013, criminal law amendment act 2013, amendments to rape and murder provisions in IPC and CRPC to make them more stringent, Despite these measures, violence against women is rising, not persistent question to ask is why. Now rising, it is rising, not diminishing or diminishing. Okay, now the persistent question to ask is why. The pertinent question to ask is why. Though the enactment of legislative measures is necessary condition to reduce the violence against women, but it is not sufficient. हमसे क्वेश्चन ने क्या पूछा है भाई, हमारा जो क्वेश्चन ऐसे का टॉपिक है वो क्या है, लेजिस्लेटिव मेजर्स अलोन आर नॉट इनफ टू इंश्योर वुमेन सेफ्टी. Though the enactment of legislative measures is a necessary condition to reduce the violence against women, but it is not sufficient. The first problem is that laws work when cases are reported. The first problem is that law work when cases are reported. Without reportage, law are just words in a book. In case of domestic violence, it has found through surveys that 86% of the cases go unreported. 86% of the cases go unreported. This stark figure goes on to prove the worst fear of all, that the domestic violence cases that we come to know of are just the tip of the iceberg. But why do women not report the cases? But why do women not report the cases? Women most of the times do not report the. So the question यहाँ पे क्या है कि why do women do not report the cases? तो women most of the time do not report the cases because of the societal stigma. This stigma emerges from the fact that in our society people judge the victim more than the perpetrator. This clear or this is clear in case of rape when the blame is put on the woman for wearing short clothes or not being charactered enough, etc. This societal stigma is reinforced by other ills. This societal stigma is reinforced by other ills. Apathy on the part of law enforcement agency add to the stigma. Apathy on part of the law enforcement agencies adds to the stigma and leading to minimal reporting by women and lead to minimal reporting by women. Police and administration in many cases been found guilty of being reluctant of even filing an FIR. Hathras providing a recent example. Investigation in a lackadaisical manner adds to the apathy. Last but not the least, police and administration come from the same society and embody its values such as patriarchy and blaming the victim. Apart from those, women also fear reporting the case of violence. क्यों भाई, क्यों fear करते हैं? Because the violence in India is domestic in nature, that is within the family and enclose relatives. So apart from this, पुलिस तो मानती ही नहीं है, इसके साथ साथ जो वुमेन है ऑल्सो फियर रिपोर्टिंग। एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और पुलिस की दिक्कतें हैं ही हैं, जो वुमेन है वो भी रिपोर्ट नहीं करते। केसेस ऑफ वायलेंस एज मोस्ट ऑफ द वायलेंस इन इंडिया is domestic in nature, that is, it happens within the family and by the close relatives. This make it difficult for them to choose between reporting and losing home and not reporting and during the abuse. सहते जाओ. Usually they choose the latter. थॉमस र्यूटर इंपॉर्टेंट नाम है भाई, थॉमस र्यूटर। एंड लॉ माइट चेंज द बिहेवियर इफ द लॉ एनफोर्समेंट इज स्ट्रिक्ट बट दे कैन नॉट चेंज द एटीट्यूड। ठीक है ना, लॉ जो है वो स्ट्रिक्ट बना सकता है बट वो एटीट्यूड को चेंज नहीं कर सकता। लॉ माइट चेंज द behavior if the law enforcement is strict but they cannot change the attitude of patriarchy is what fuels the violence and to हमको यहाँ पे एटीट्यूड को चेंज करना पड़ेगा। जो एटीट्यूड है यहाँ पे पैट्रियार्की इज दैट, जो पैट्रिया का एटीट्यूड है यही क्या करता है, वायलेंस को बढ़ाता है। and to eliminate the violence, that attitude has to be changed। In addition to these legislative measures, many other things can be done that will help in reducing and ultimately eliminate the violence, reducing and ultimately eliminate the violence, ensuring women's safety। यहाँ पे हम बात करेंगे किसकी, वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन की। वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन is the first and foremost responsibility of the education system, inculcating the values of gender equality, empathy, compassion, and non-violence will go a long way in cutting the roots of the menace of violence against women. Now, domestic parenting is required and can be a game changer. Or sorry, domestic and democratic parenting. Democratic parenting can be a game changer. Parents need to be transmit value of gender sensitivity and love to their children. Further, segregation of gender role should be eliminated. Segregation of gender role should be eliminated, and both boys and girls should be raised up similarly. अवेयरनेस कैंपेन की ज़रूरत है। Awareness campaigns about the PRASENC presence of laws against gender violence. Awareness campaign about the presence of laws against gender violence will lead to warning of to be criminals. Lead to warning of to be criminals, and also ensure that women know their right and the laws against violence. This can be done via media, TV, cinema, cinema, etc. Celebrity voice can be used to ensure adequate effect on the people. Sure adequate effect on the people. Sensitization of law enforcement. Sensitization of law enforcement personnel about the gender stereotyping violence prevalent against women is a must. It will resolve the problems of late FIRs and lackadaisical investigation. Lackadaisical investigations, etc. The media should empower to report each and every case. यहाँ पे मीडिया का भी इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है. The media should be empowered to report each and every case, but it should be ensured that the reportage is truthful and not deviation or division. This can go a long way to enhance the reportage and demand of justice by the people. Women and especially young girls should be taught self-defense so that they can tackle an emergency when no one is around. Women and especially young girls should be taught self defense so that they can tackle an emergency when no one is around. This is also help This will also help in reducing the crimes in the first place, as the criminals would fear the defensive violence. And police transport should be regulated and proper data management of all police transport personnel should be ensured in a centralized database. नॉट पुलिस सॉरी पब्लिक। तो पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट कारण है इसका, जो वायलेंस होता है अगेंस्ट वुमेन, सो इसको रेगुलेट करने की ज़रूरत है। पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट should be regulated and proper data management of all the public transport personnel should be ensured in a centralized database. Modern technologies of GPS should be used to track and trace every public transport vehicle. यहाँ पे हेल्पलाइन नंबर्स भी होने चाहिए, ऐप्स भी होने चाहिए। हेल्पलाइन numbers and apps need to launch that can be used 24/7 by women in order to get help in case of an emergency. This helpline numbers and the apps detail should be posted on the public transport vehicles and sideways of roads so that women are aware. In the recent times, government has come up with many initiatives such as बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, अवेयरनेस कैंपेन ऑन गर्ल्स इन रूरल एरियाज, ठीक है। सो स्टेप्स लिए तो गए हैं इन दी recent times. Government government has come up with many initiatives such as बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, अवेयरनेस कैंपेन ऑन गर्ल चाइल्ड इन रूरल areas, helpline numbers such as 100 etc. This another initiative, this and other initiatives like he for she are a step in the right direction. तो लास्ट में हम कोफी अनन का एक कोट से एंड करेंगे, सेइंग दैट नो बेटर टूल ऑफ वुमेन empowerment than women themselves. कोफी अनन का ये कोट है. ओके, सो दिस इज दी essay number 2.